Cordia, I hope you agree that this has been a really great conference. I want to thank everybody who's worked so hard to make it a success. Putting on a conference of this scale takes a huge level of commitment. So firstly, I'd like to thank the Standing Orders Committee, led by Elaine Hickey, for ensuring such a well-run weekend. I also want to thank our party staff for all the hard work that they put in. That includes our organisers, led by Rory Power, our HQ team, led by Sabrina Ryan, our communications and parliamentary teams, led by Clep Brown and Vic Duggan. I want to thank Eamon Murphy for everything he contributed, and a huge thanks as well to the social media team, led by Claire McGrown, who did an excellent job throughout the conference. In particular, I want to thank Mary Callahan for her phenomenal work. Mary put in tremendous effort to make everything run so smoothly this weekend, and we're grateful for that. I also want to thank our outgoing National Executive for their huge commitment over the last couple of years. Especially want to thank our outgoing Chair, Colin Byrne, and our Treasurer, Dave Quinn. And I want to wish the incoming Executive and officers all the best for a couple of years, and thank everyone who ran and put themselves forward in the elections. Friends, as it's been said, this is our first national conference in Cork, something that COJO would have been really proud and would have loved to have seen. And I really want to thank Louisa for joining us this weekend. It really means a lot to us. Thank you very much. I had the pleasure of working very closely with COJO when he was our National Treasurer. He played a huge role behind the scenes in helping get us to where we are now. In terms of us winning our 11 Dáil seats and emerging as the fourth largest party in the last elections. After Catherine and Roisin took the plunge and set up the Social Democrats, it was COJO and people like COJO all over the country who responded to their call to help and to get involved by joining the Social Democrats, by supporting election candidates, by knocking on doors, delivering leaflets, fundraising and organising. It's grassroots members that have built this party. And by paying tribute to COJO in his memory in tonight's award, we pay tribute to all of our grassroots members for the work that you put in week in and week out. It's been really great to have Catherine and Roisin here today. And I want to say to Catherine and Roisin that you have, through your work over the years, you've inspired a new generation of people to get involved in politics, to build the Ireland that we need. And I want to thank you for the leadership and the hard work that you've put in over so many years. When the Social Democrats was established more than 10 years ago, there were so many who predicted that we wouldn't survive. They wrote us off, they dismissed us. Well, they were wrong. From small beginnings, we've grown steadily. We now have branches all across the country in every almost Dáil constituency. We've 33 councillors, 11 TDs, Senator Patricia Stevenson. And it's just over a year since the election, and in that time, our parliamentary party have shown that they are some of the strongest performers in the Dáil and in the Seanad. They are well-informed, articulate, constructive, principled and strong. They are a force to be reckoned with, and the best is yet to come. We may have started small, but the gap in Irish politics for us to fill is huge. There's a yearning for change and for political leadership that puts people and our planet first. It was only last June that we asked our elected reps, our members, our branches, who we should support for president, and the answer was very clear. The Social Democrats were the first party to back Catherine Connolly, while we led, others followed. Ar fud na hÉireann tá níos mó agus níos mó daoine ag leor rogha eile. Rogha eile na curran daoine chun tusaí. Rogha eile seachas fína fáil agus fína gael. Tá siad ag iarraidh rogha atá dearfach. Rogha ar féidir leo a credan insi. Rogha spragan éirí go bar cumas. Tá siad ag iarraidh dóchas. Tá siad ag iarraidh ahrú. Tá níos mó agus níos mó daoine ag fécinn d'uirn. Is sin an tarú sin. Is sinna an dóchas sin. Throughout Ireland, more and more people are looking for an alternative to the failed politics of the Civil War parties. They're looking for political leadership that can help bring out the very best of us. The recent 10% poll ratings show that more and more people are looking to us for an alternative. Now, it's important to remember that polls are just a snapshot in time. Nonetheless, our support in just over a year shows that people are responding to our message of hope, our message of inclusion, our message that no one should be left behind. A Carja, in 2019, a tiny group of people in West Cork who'd campaigned together during the repeal referendum decided to run a sock-down candidate in the local elections. What they lacked in terms of electoral experience, they made up for with energy and enthusiasm. Holly Cairns stepped forward as a local election candidate for the Social Democrats in the most westerly part of Cork. The pundits did not give us a chance of winning this seat. Not for the last time, they were proved wrong. After a brilliant campaign and a marathon recount, Holly emerged as a councillor by a margin of just one vote. This incredible achievement changed the direction of Irish politics. Within less than a year, Holly had been elected as our TD for Cork South West. Just 3 short years later, Holly became our leader. Under her leadership, we've had our best election and we've doubled the size of our parliamentary party. Ireland has never seen anything like this before. Holly's story of making electoral breakthroughs against all the odds, of getting new people involved, of taking brave and difficult stances is not just her story. It's also the story of the Social Democrats. Holly represents what we are about. We are Social Democrats because we care passionately about creating a fairer Ireland, and we're willing to put in the work to achieve it. Holly's dignified, strong, and compassionate leadership is a huge part of why more and more people are turning to us. And I'm delighted to be able to welcome her on stage now. Please put your hands together for the leader of the Social Democrats, Holly Cairns.
Welcome to the Social Democrats Conference, coming to you live from Cork City. It's so good to be here and to see all of you, and I also want to welcome everybody who's tuning in at home. Thank you, Cian, for your kind introduction. I've said it before, and I'll never stop saying it. We're so lucky to have you as our Deputy Leader. Thank you for everything you do for this party. Conference, it is a very good time to be a Social Democrat. We are 10 years old, we are up in the polls, and for the first time ever, we're all together in Cork. The last time that we all met was in February 2024, and we were facing a year of elections, and as I said back then, a year of possibilities. And what a year it was. We almost doubled our councillors in the locals in June, and when the general election was called in October, I was 9 months pregnant. Once the shock of that wore off, I had 2 wishes. I wanted us to come back with more than our 6 TDs, and I really didn't want to give birth on polling day. Well, we got 11 TDs elected, and it turns out that my daughter just really knows how to make an entrance. Since then, we've added our first Social Democrat Senator, Senator Patricia Stevenson. And we were the first party to back Catherine Connolly for president in a historic campaign that united the left and sparked a nationwide movement. Catherine Matatu ag fécint, Gollum Gomeg Maquid Gaeilge níos fearr Duncéad ar deisile. And the elections just keep on coming. Our candidate for the Dublin Central by-election is Councillor Daniel Ennis, an amazing community activist for the North Inner City, a champion of inclusivity and access to sport. Our Galway West candidate is Mida Niconlaic, a Gaeltacht woman and a passionate advocate for mental health reform from Connemara. Conference, let's pull out all the stops to get Mida and Dan elected. Get behind them, spread the word. Because time after time, we've shown that our politics of equality, inclusion, honesty, and above all, hope really resonates. We've shown that we can do things differently, not just for our party, but for the country. That real change is possible if we just reach out and vote for it. For most of my life, I didn't pay much attention to politics outside of an election cycle, and I know some of you watching at home will be the same. If you did tune in to the last election, you probably heard Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael say they were on track to build 40,000 homes that year, and of course, they were going to enact the Occupied Territories Bill. There was absolutely no question about that. They just needed a mandate. You may not have heard the update, and if so, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that housing figure turned out to be a complete fabrication, and the Occupied Territories Bill is gathering dust somewhere in the bowels of the Department of Foreign Affairs. I know that some people might say, this is old news, and sure isn't that the way the politicians act in an election? But we simply cannot accept this dishonesty as normal. Empty promises should not be a given in our elections. It makes people lose faith in politics, and it robs people of hope for the future. Hope is such a precious commodity these days. The act of being involved in politics at all, the act of casting a vote, is an act of hope. None of us would be here in this room if we didn't believe that we could change things for the better, that we can become a country where our young people can stay and build a future, where disabled people no longer have to fight for services they are entitled to, where workers' rights and quality of life are top of the agenda, where our climate and biodiversity targets are taken seriously, and where the state steps up to deliver quality public services. This is the future we in the Social Democrats are fighting for. Every week when I sit across from the Taoiseach, I hear him say the same lines again and again. We've turned a corner on housing. Can't build houses overnight. Would you calm down, Deputy Hearn? Rory, our housing spokesperson, is very passionate about this issue, and so he should be. There are 17,000 people living in homelessness, including 5,000 children. This should never be normalised. I know that so many of you aren't planning for the future you dreamed of anymore. You're deciding which parts of it you can live with letting go. You've heard so many promises and been failed so many times. You just don't believe there's a way out of this mess. The real change for those of us in opposition is not just to hold government to account, but to come forward with solutions that are credible, costed, and will work. This week, the Social Democrats published detailed plans on our housing policy. This includes our plan to create a state construction company so that local authorities can do what they were always meant to do and build homes that are affordable all over the country. We would establish 4 regional modular home factories to turbocharge that delivery. We would also set up a state savings scheme so that some of the €160 billion sitting in Irish deposit accounts earning almost no interest could be used to finance the construction of badly needed homes. This is something hundreds and thousands of us could be a part of, a national effort to address the housing crisis, and it's something we know will work because it's worked in France for decades. When we suggest these plans to the government, well, first of all, they say we don't have any plans. Then they tell us our plans are too radical or will take too long to set up and get started. But refusing to change their policies when they are not working is what has led us here, in an endless doom loop of failure. We need to interrupt that cycle, reset, and start over. We need to protect renters, not use them as cash cows for investment funds. We need to bring tens of thousands of vacant homes back into use by imposing a 10% vacancy tax. We need a temporary rent freeze and a ban on no-fault evictions to stop even more families being evicted into homelessness, and to give renters some breathing space while we build up supply. Because at the heart of our plan is one guiding principle: affordability. The simple idea that the state should be delivering homes that people on average incomes can actually afford to buy. We used to be able to do that. I believe under our plans, we will do that again. The cost of living crisis is often depicted as a kind of upward trend on a chart or a price comparison between supermarkets. But of course, it's much more visceral than that. It's the involuntary flinch when you realise your car tax is due this month, the jolt you get in the supermarket at the checkout. It's the pain in the pit of your stomach when you see a letter landing from your landlord on your mat. For so many, life has become so unaffordable, a high-wire act bracing yourself for the next unexpected cost that could knock you off your feet, into your overdraft, into missing your next rent payment, or for some, into homelessness. Will it be the letter in your child's school bag asking for a voluntary contribution? Will it be something simple, but potentially financially devastating, like the start of a toothache? The cost of simply existing in this country is getting harder and harder to manage every month. The government has not been able to address the cost of living crisis because they do not understand the solution. The solution is social democracy. Investing in quality public services that drive down costs for everybody, so you don't have to pay €70 every time you see a GP or dentist. So there are public childcare spaces available for your child in your community. And so you have access to education at all levels that is genuinely free. We also need targeted support for those who need it the most, starting with an emergency €400 winter payment for disabled people. And to lift tens of thousands of children out of poverty, a second tier of child benefit. We have pushed for these measures, we will keep pushing for these measures, and we will not take no for an answer. There are people out there who will try to convince you that migrants are responsible for the problems that we face as a society, that minorities are to blame for the chronic lack of investment in our services and in our communities. And when those voices are growing louder, when misinformation spreads like wildfire, when migrants feel increasingly unsafe, where is the government? Where is their positive message about our migrant community? A community that is made up of our friends, our family, our neighbours. These are people who keep our public services from collapsing, who drive our economy and contribute so much to the culture of this country. I'd like to take a moment now to remember somebody who should be here with us tonight, but isn't. Our former treasurer and friend, Kojo. He passed away in 2024, far too young. Kojo immigrated to Cork from the UK and was second-generation Nigerian Ghanaian. He was proud to call Ireland his home, prouder still to be a Cork man. And this country was made better for him being here. I know he would be thrilled to bits to have the conference in Cork, and the fact that we have not one, not two, but 3 Cork TDs would make him so happy. Thank you for everything, Kojo. We miss you. There are tens and thousands of people like Kojo all across this country, and so often the problem with debates on migration is they erase the people at the heart of it. Of course, there are improvements that need to be made within our migration and international protection systems. We need faster processing times so people aren't stuck in limbo for years. We need state-run reception centres, freeing up hotels in towns and villages, and finally ending the reliance on the private sector. We need better support for communities who want to help migrants integrate through work programmes, sport, education and training. We need the government to step up, stop scapegoating and start leading. I love social media. I possibly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for social media. But I know I'm not alone in thinking that it's becoming an increasingly bleak place to be. It's now so normal to see toxicity and hate go viral, spread by those who want to incite fear, spew lies, and just terrorise people. Speak out on certain issues and they'll line up in the comments section to intimidate, harass, and even threaten to rape you, often under the guise of protecting women and children. And the latest threat is that if you dare to stand up to their hate, they'll order an AI app to undress you. For too long, this government has allowed social media companies and tech companies regulate themselves, which effectively means no regulation at all, no enforcement, and no safeguards. This is having such a corrosive impact on society. The impact on children's mental health is frightening, and teenagers are becoming increasingly isolated and lonely. It's time to stand up and fight back. Time to turn off the toxic algorithms that are feeding our children harmful content. Time to prosecute social media companies that are clearly breaking the law. Time to recognise the immense harm posed by deepfakes and introduce a new law giving everyone digital copyright to their own bodies and voices. I don't know about you, but when I swipe open my phone in the morning, I find I'm bracing myself for the latest breaking news headline. The world is becoming increasingly unstable. Despite the so-called ceasefire, the genocide in Palestine is continuing, and disgracefully, aid agencies are still being prevented from saving lives. Greenland has faced the threat of invasion and annexation, and 4 years into Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, Putin has been asked to join Trump's so-called Board of Peace, an assortment of autocrats and war criminals. It is clear that a policy of appeasement has not worked. When the Taoiseach visits the Oval Office next month, he must make the position of the Irish people clear. We stand alongside our EU allies. We are not joining the Board of Peace, and we do not bow down to bullies. Now more than ever, we need to stand up for international law, promote peace, and invest in our defence forces. We must improve pay and conditions for personnel, support our peacekeepers, and invest in measures like cybersecurity and anti-drone technology, because being neutral does not mean being defenceless. We can recognise the rupture in our international order and still stand by our principles. We must protect our neutrality. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael want to remove the triple lock. They claim to have a mandate to do it. So I would like to say to them, prove it, put it to the people, and let us have a vote on it. I know that in the context of global instability, a housing crisis, and a cost of living crisis, it's hard to consider the threat and the impact of climate change. But we need a government that does. The impacts of climate change are already here, and they're only growing in intensity and in frequency. Right now, there are families all across the country trying to pick up the pieces after wading through floodwaters in their homes and businesses. My heart goes out to everybody affected by the devastating floods around the country these past few weeks. We need a government that plans ahead, actually delivers flood prevention schemes instead of one that blames the weatherman. A government that will invest in public transport all across the country, connecting towns and villages and reducing gridlock in our cities. A government that aims for Ireland to be the most sustainable, the most future-proof, to be held up as the example when it comes to agriculture. A government that will invest in offshore wind, providing energy security and bringing down energy costs. A government that sees climate action not as a burden, but as an opportunity to ensure our children and grandchildren inherit a country with clear waters, clean air, and thriving biodiversity. I feel so lucky to be able to raise my daughter on our family farm in West Cork. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but I have to say, it takes a party like the Social Democrats to support their leader, to continue leading when managing a 1-year-old and a 5-hour commute to my constituency. I want to take this opportunity to thank my parliamentary party, my team, party staff, my family and my constituents in Cork South West for the grace and flexibility you've shown to allow me to be the best mother and the best leader I can be. We need more women in Irish politics. We need a critical mass to address the problems in so many areas. If you're watching this and thinking about getting involved, please do. We need more Mná, we need you. Politics is about choices, and the choices that are made now will shape our future. We need to ask ourselves, what kind of a country do we want to live in? One that is becoming increasingly cynical and divided, or one that is clear-eyed, open-hearted, outward-looking, and inclusive? With the Social Democrats, the choice is clear. We believe the housing crisis can be solved, and we have the plans to do it. We believe in a rights-based approach to disability, and we will never stop fighting for it. We believe in creating a better Ireland where the economy thrives and no one is left behind. We believe a united Ireland is fast approaching, and we're ready to work together with communities in the north to make that a reality. Between now and the next election, I imagine the government parties are going to try their level best to convince you that our policies are too radical, not credible, maybe even dangerous. And if we continue to climb in the polls, that scaremongering will only step up a gear. They'll spend their time trying to sow the seeds of fear of change. We will spend that time building. We will build on our evidence-based policies and positive vision for Ireland. We will build on the legacy of the Connolly Coalition and strengthen relationships on the left. We will build on the excellent work of our councillors and TDs in their communities. And when the next election comes, we will stand a candidate in every constituency in the country. It's not going to be easy. It never has been. But we've never backed down from a challenge or listened to the doubters who wrote this party off from the start. I know what it feels like to be underestimated, dismissed, and discounted, but it's only made me more determined to work harder, to be braver, and to shout louder, because I am unashamedly ambitious about the future of this party and the better country we can build together.